I shift focus over to the Met Gala. Here are glimpses from the season's grandest fashion event, the Met Gala of 2023. An evening that was full of glitz, glamour and grandeur saw celebrities and icons from across the world walking in the season's most magnificent outfits, themed on the line of beauty of the late German designer Karl Lagerfeld. Celebrities could be seen paying homage to his work of art, while the usual celebrities, the Kardashians, Rihanna, Gigi Hadid, to name a few, made their attendance clad in absolutely stunning outfits. There were quite a few outrageous and even catty appearances. Yes, we're talking about Jared Leto and Doja Cat, both who were seen in variations of cat costumes, as you all know, was a tribute to Karl Lagerfeld's cat. Meanwhile, Indian icons could also be seen flaunting the carpet with their fabulous looks. Priyanka Chopra Jonas was spotted twining with her husband in a black Valentino gown, while Alia Bhatt made her debut appearance in a Serene Prabal Gurung white gown embellished with pearls. Isha Ambani too was sporting a Gurung design, a sari cum gown studded with dazzling jewels, besides Natasha Poonawalla, who was seen walking the carpet in a rather chic and bold gown. Let's also have a quick look at few responses from the carpet at the gala.
The Met Gala, fashion's biggest night, went off in style in New York. On paper, it's an annual fundraising event for the Metropolitan Museum of Art's Costume Institute. For you and me, though, it's an opportunity to see the biggest celebrities in the world in their most glamorous, extravagant, and often outrageous ensembles. They are encouraged to dress according to a pre-decided theme. This year's theme is Karl Lagerfeld, a line of beauty, as an homage to the iconic fashion designer. The party is strictly invitation only. A select group of 400 celebrities from across different fields makes the cut each year. This year, several Indian celebrities were invited to bring their most dramatic glam to the Met Gala carpet. Alia Bhatt made her Met Gala debut in a white pearl-embellished gown designed by Prabal Gurung. She called it a labor of love, created using 1 lakh pearls. Priyanka Chopra Jonas has been a regular attendee at the Met Gala since her debut back in 2017. This year, she wore a black Valentino gown with a thigh-high slit, getting one of the loudest cheers. Priyanka was joined by her husband, Nick Jonas, on the red carpet. Rihanna and partner A$AP Rocky arrived fashionably late and still stole the show. Rihanna, who was pregnant with her second child, displayed her baby bump at the world's biggest red carpet event in a white ensemble. Anne Hathaway wore a strapless safety pin dress by Versace, designed by Lagerfeld with white tweed, pearl accents, and flower details. Reality star Kim Kardashian, who wore Marilyn Monroe's iconic dress to last year's Met Gala, came dripping in pearls this year. Other stars like Penelope Cruz, Michelle Yeoh, Nicole Kidman brought their best fashion foot forward. The men also made heads turn at the Met Gala. Tennis legend Roger Federer returned to the red carpet looking dapper. Actor Pedro Pascal wore a red vintage shirt and overcoat from Valentino, but it's his black shorts that caught everyone's eye. And of course, the Met Gala can't be complete without a touch of bizarre. Actor Jared Leto turned up in a giant cat costume as a tribute to Karl Lagerfeld's cat Chopin. Leto even ended up photobombing Anne Hathaway on the red carpet. Singer Doja Cat showed up in a white gown with a cat ear hood. To make her look even more realistic, she wore cat prosthetics on her face. But it wasn't just the celebrities gracing the Met Gala red carpet. A cockroach made its debut and sent the photographers and social media into a tizzy.
All right, let's try and get a sense of what were the highlights and what were the favorites. I'm joined in by a lifestyle journalist from Insider. Chloe Pantazzi-Wolper joins me live from Philadelphia. Many thanks to you, Chloe, for joining in. I'd say the roach did it for me, but as expected, black and white looks were all over the red carpet. Strings of pearls and flowers, menswear-inspired looks as well. Which look stood out the most for you? Was it the cockroach?
Well, the cockroach certainly made an appearance, and as someone living in New York, I can certainly relate. So standout looks for me from the evening, you mentioned black and white being everywhere. Chanel's influence was obviously really visible on the night. I would say, obviously, Rihanna turning up very late, but always fashionable. She arrived in a beautiful custom silk white Valentino cape and dress. As always, it was a very dramatic entrance. As she arrived, she had this really voluminous cape on with the camellia floral appliques. Camellias really became popularized at Chanel by Karl Lagerfeld when he was there as artistic director. So that was a really clear nod to his influence at that fashion house. And then she obviously revealed, when taking this off, the ball gown style dress underneath, a voluminous skirt with a 16-foot train. And just to return to the cape, because I'd be remiss to not mention it, but it had 30 camellias, 500 petals, and 25 leaves, according to Valentino. Other looks that really stood out for me, I loved Cardi B's dress. So she turned up really emulating Karl Lagerfeld's signature style. She was wearing a gorgeous Chen Peng studio dress. It looked like a suit up top. So she had that shirt, lapel look. And then the bottom of the dress was this oversized hoop style skirt. And it was again covered in those camellias. And she really just channeled that black and white. I'd also love to just mention Nicole Kidman, because I want to just shout out her look, because she wore a vintage dress. And as a very famous Chanel ambassador, she wore the 2004 Chanel dress that she wore for the number 5 commercial, the Chanel number 5 perfume. This was directed by Baz Luhrmann. It was a really iconic commercial, and Karl Lagerfeld designed that dress. So that was a really personal, heartfelt tribute to him. And then I also wanted to point out Alia Bhatt. It was mentioned just now in your coverage, but her custom gown, inspired by Lagerfeld's bridal look for Chanel's 92 fall winter collection, just dripping in pearls. She looked absolutely radiant, and there were so many bridal looks on the red carpet, which was really fun, and I thought was unexpected.
Right, Chloe, it's interesting you highlighted those bridal looks as well. But let's also talk about the cats, whether Jared Leto or Doja Cat. A lot of cats too were, presented as a tribute to Lagerfeld's cat. Which feline look, in your opinion, stood out?
So I'm a cat person, so I loved the presence of cats on the Met Gala red carpet. I was not surprised to see them. So obviously Choupette Lagerfeld is Karl Lagerfeld's iconic Birmingham cat. And unfortunately, she couldn't make it. Her official representatives had posted to Instagram earlier yesterday to confirm she wouldn't be there, much to the dismay of many fans. But celebrities turned out nonetheless, paying full tribute to the the feline icon. So Doja Cat, obviously true to her name, turned up in an actual kind of cat costume. She had the cat ears. She went so far as to have cat prosthetics and makeup that looked incredibly realistic.
It looked straight out of Star Trek.
Yes, she did. And that I should mention that design was by Oscar de la Renta. It was a sparkling ensemble and the result of 6 months of work. So much work went into it, as it often does for Met Gala pieces. I also want to just shout out Melina Stearns, who did her prosthetics, because it just looked incredible and a little disturbing. But I think that was the intended effect.
The bizarre has always grabbed eyeballs at the Met Gala.
Absolutely. There has to be some head-turning looks and some discussion. There needs to be wow factor and a little shock. And speaking of shock factor, Jared Leto just showed up in a full-on cat costume, leaving onlookers to wonder, who is that? So that was amusing when he took the head of the costume off to reveal who was underneath that. And then Lil Nas X, he was a vision in a crystal look, head to toe, that legendary makeup artist Pat McGrath was responsible for. And he sported just a silver Dior thong. I think he may have been the celebrity wearing the least at the Met Gala this year. And a pair of silver platform boots.
Shock, when you talk about the shock factor, it comes very naturally to Jared Leto. I'm running short of time and I have 2 more questions for you, Chloe. Let's talk about the hair transformations before I move on to a more serious question. many of these hair transformations stood out, especially that of Jessica Chastain. What in your look actually were those hair transformations that stood out?
So yes, so Jessica Chastain is one of Hollywood's most famous redheads, and she really turned heads at the Met Gala by appearing with platinum blonde locks. I imagine it was a nod to Karl Lagerfeld, and again, just really looked unrecognizable. A lot of celebrities really pulled out all the stops for this Met Gala, and in the fashion world, there was discussion about, is there going to be anything that spectacular, given that the theme, Karl Lagerfeld's such an iconic designer, but the styles at Chanel are very black and white and romantic, but they really delivered. So that stood out to me.
Right. Chloe, let's end with the most controversial bit. People associated with the Met, like its own curator, Andrew Bolton, has said that the Met wants to focus only on the work rather than the words or the man. Is it ethical for the Met exhibition to overlook questionable things that were said by Lagerfeld in the past?
Yeah, this is a really tricky question. I think this is something that's been on the minds of a lot of people, attending the Met Gala, who are preparing for the Met Gala. I think the focus really was kept on the work, because there is an ongoing debate that I definitely don't have time to get into, but, to what degree does the art and the artist, to what degree do those exist together, and how should one judge somebody's art versus them as a person? I will say Karl Lagerfeld was a controversial person. He did say some unfortunate and quite offensive things, and certainly was not the most body positive man. I think, to me, what really stood out last night was that there were attendees who really embraced just being there and loving the designs and saying, like, I'm here and I'm wearing these designs and I'm body positive. And I thought that was really powerful. Ashley Graham, to me, really stood out in her ensemble and looked just fantastic. But yeah, it's a really tough topic, but I think the focus of this is really on the fashion. And I think, Karl Lagerfeld's times have changed, and we're moving forward as a society. So it was great to see celebrities embracing the trends and really making them their own. I thought that was incredibly moving.
Right. Many thanks to you, Chloe. I think you assessed it very well. Thank you for gracing my show.